give me one of the, first I want to know like how it grew. Like when you came on, do you remember like I did, we did this year and then this next year. Do you remember the track of like how much did y'all do your first year when you came on board?
Yeah. So at that point we got to like, business was already about like, we got to 10 million really quick. So when I
got to 10 million really quick.
Well, yeah, because it just took off initially with this, like once we knew and again, I say the time, just because I was at the house always from the beginning. And then I kind of more formally came in a couple years later, but I could see the growth. That's when I was like, all right, I want in. But the dynamic of this product, once you knew we could sell it, throughout the U.S. e-commerce, you didn't need a physical store. It got to, we got to 10 million in, as I was coming aboard, was at that part. But in 2000,
he was already doing well.
Yeah. So the business was growing fast. Now again, e-com profit wise, that's a couple million in bottom line. But we have a team. We have there's some expenses, everything else. So, but we could quickly see from the time I was aboard with that every dollar we made, we try not to put. People think how much money you make. We didn't take much money out of the business. Yeah. So we weren't taking that money and saying, let's go buy a bunch of cars. Let's go buy, because we knew that money was so valuable to put back into the business. Yeah. We could grow really fast. So I got to keep the years straight. The business was doubling the first couple of years. It got to 20 million and I want to say, 14 and 15, 16. It got to 40 million. It got to, I think 15, we were at 70 million in like 16. It was big. We bought one brand that helped us. It was in a related space that was doing about 10 million. So we added that to the mix. But I know the numbers can kind of like some people almost can't relate to it, but that's why I say the growth. So we grew to the 100, we got to like the 60 million. We actually plateaued a little bit and we had a big team. That's where my partner moved to China to like build out we couldn't grow much more unless we got that next team. So
what did you do to continue to sustain that growth? And then what happened? Why did you plateau?
Yeah. So the early days, again, people, the reality of it is, here's the thing, when you're selling on a platform, so like Amazon is a marketplace, right? So you can either sell your product yourself. If you have, say your t-shirt business, you can sell everything yourself, or you can use a marketplace that brings the customers. You don't have to really, you still have to drive traffic and everything, but the customer's already on Amazon, right? So when you do that, the reality is like the same thing with social media, right? You're on Instagram, you're on this, there's an algorithm, right? And so there's an algorithm and there's ways to understand how to, you want to call it game the algorithm. The reality with Amazon, there is an algorithm. How do you get shown on page one? So when you go to buy on Amazon, it's all about being on page one for that term you search for. If you're not on page one, very few people are going to page 2, page 3, page 4, right? And so we understood that. There's a group of us that understood that really quickly about how to get to page 1.
Give us the game. How?
Yeah. So now it's changed a lot too. Now I will share that we don't teach this. We don't share this. At the time it's called black hat technique, super aggressive. We've met with Amazon and we've told them, hey, if we hadn't done this, we probably wouldn't have had if we followed all your rules, we wouldn't have had a business.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, we know.
Oh.
So
they knew.
Yeah. So they knew, but they didn't know. I don't know, like a new app now is Clubhouse, right? Or whatever the new app is. Like the entrepreneurs are faster to figure out how to quote unquote game and figure out ways to do it because there's money at stake much faster than these platforms can really understand. Like they put these rules in place initially and we're like way ahead of it, right? Yeah. And then now over time they catch up and they really figure out how to do it. And you got to make sure you play within the rules. But early on we had, again, we had IT backgrounds and my partners, we'd have, I love sharing this, but we had all these different computers that set up. They would all buy our products.
It's just I'm not going to tell nobody.
They would buy, they would buy products, and so it would elevate. In other words, it looks like it's buying the product. Right? This is don't do this. But you basically think about 100 computers all buying our products, and the orders maybe the orders don't actually get delivered, right? Because we're saying we're going to deliver the order. You're going to buy 100 cases for this word. Bam, bam, bam. So we're up there right away. Back then, reviews, there's a lot of, manipulation around reviews. And so, if Amazon caught on that, they would say, don't do that. we'd say, now our competitors would do the same thing, right? The top competitors.
Right.
Now behind it, you had to build a quality product. If your product sucked, doesn't matter, right? If you're selling a t-shirt, cell phone case, whatever it is, the product sucks, you're not going to go anywhere. So we did have to be really good at that. It's just like if you have a course or program, it has to be good, right? So our product was good. Our cell phone case was good. But the method to get you there, if you're selling, again, if you're offering whatever on YouTube or on, whether it's a podcast or whatever else, again, you have to be aggressive to get out in front of the crowd. But you don't want to be so aggressive that you're going to get kicked off the platform. So nowadays there's different things which we can share some of those things as well too.
I like the philosophy though. It's like when you jump on a platform, there are going to be some loopholes, but as an entrepreneur, it's your job to figure those out. And then eventually the company catches up. Like just how, there's the strategy on getting followers. Like you get to this super high level and then Instagram says, hold on, you guys are buying followers. Those aren't real followers. Oh, but by that time, you're verified. You already have a following. People.
It's exactly the same concept. It's literally, that's what I love about, we really got in the digital space and coaching about 3.5, 4 years ago. But part of it was like, ooh, this digital stuff is actually, they all kind of converge, right? So it's like your skill sets in the digital world. And it's like, oh, I want to sell a product. I've built a brand. Let me sell my product now. Vice versa. Like, hey, we're good at this, the digital game. So it's the exact same philosophy on these different platforms. It's just difference between a physical product and a digital product.
All right. I want to get into the game or how we make that happen, but I do got to ask a question. It's a personal question. So I'm seeing a lot of people that do, they'll sell you an Amazon store or they'll sell you a Walmart store. You seeing that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Do you guys do that?
We do not do that. It's an interesting, so it's in everything. Of course, you always do your homework and figure out the entrepreneur. Because these guys hit me up all the time. Like, you should, even when again, they must just be, I don't know if they're virtual assistants or whatever, even when they know or they see like, what we do for a living, they're like, oh yeah, we should help you open a Walmart store or open an Amazon store.
And they run it for you and then they run it for you, yes. Right?
Yeah. So there's something we're treading carefully into even offering that because we always want to be, provide real value and authentic. And I'm always like a little skeptical of something where it's just like, just do this. If it ever sounds too easy, right? Like in life, then you want to be skeptical. But
that's what they're saying, Jay. Like, yo, you put up 25,000 or 20,000.
Yeah.
We'll open a store and outside of, you just put a card on file and that buys the product to send to the customer after they order. And so this is what I'm saying. I want to know your perspective. So you're the customer, you come to my website, Said is running my store. So when you buy it, I put my card on file and Said runs the card that I have on file to buy the product from the company. And then Said's running my store. He sends it to you. Everybody's happy. And I just make my money back plus a percentage. Then Said takes a certain percentage of that, right?
Yeah. And so to me, this would be my take is let's say there's 100 people offering that service. I think there'll be a small percentage of those guys that can legitimately do that for you. And I know some people in my networks, the guys that are doing this, and I'm like, okay, let me understand your operation, what you're doing. They need to be really good at what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And we've discussed, doing that. We're also discussing buying brands because we know, we have our methodology and system work. So if you're with someone who really knows what they're doing, then yes, it's essentially, you're investing your money and you want to get an above average return, or you could do that with real estate. You could do that with whatever. Now, I also think there's a lot of people out there that will say that really don't have the experience on Amazon and success that will pitch it because it's a lot of money and they'll go out and we'll see in a couple of years and you'll be like, hey, what the heck happened? What happened to my return? So I do think it is risky unless you're with someone that you trust and you know about. So that would be the big thing, which anyway, I just think, I would just make sure you vet the track records. Again, there could be guys that learn to sell on Amazon or Walmart, whatever you hear, for the last 2 years. And they're like, they're going to raise $5 million, but they really have no idea how to handle that amount of money and run these systems and everything else. But for those that truly do, if they're offering it, then yes, they operate it. But I'm personally a little skeptical of that.
Why are you skeptical? Just because it seems too good to be true?
Oh, I'm skeptical of the operator, the guys running those businesses. Like a lot of the guys, I know we know how to run our business. We have team, we have all this stuff. I know people out there that I know how to do these. So if you tell me one of these people that I know, I would trust those, certain guys. But some person I've never seen that's, messaging me on Instagram about a Walmart store. I'm like, I don't think so.
Yeah. And you're considering getting into the business. Have you ever officially, like not officially, like, but unofficially done it for a friend or?
Yeah. Yes. I've done it and sometimes that's why like on the digital side, we're not the best at like, or these guys that are super aggressive in these new marketing trends and like, oh, let's do that. I'm like, oh, they're probably faster and better at us on that, like the marketing and growing a business that way. We're a little bit more, we're good at what we're good at. But once we understand it, we'll go ahead. So there's a fine line between what you describe, what I'll call this done for you, which is kind of what you're describing. There is a big demand for people like, I don't want to learn everything and you just do it for me. And, or maybe have some involvement with it, but you guys do all the heavy lifting and I'll invest in that too. So I do think that is another model. I'm seeing that trend more and more. And again, that doesn't have to be with e-com. It could be with digital products. Man. Yeah. You're seeing it too. Yeah. So that I'm probably like, ooh, we should stay up with that. But it's to answer your question. I have done that with, like there's a guy who's an executive in the retail space that's like, hey, I want to get into this Amazon stuff. Can I put in a couple $100,000 or $100,000? I think it's probably about 150 you put in, and you guys run it. And I want to be involved for my percentage. And so I said, yes, let's do that. We'll do a smaller brand. He's a partner in it, but he's put in some cash, but he doesn't have to do anything.
Got it. Okay. All right. So right now you don't necessarily recommend it because you want to see or vet the people doing it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. No, what I see is like even, what it can give any of our industries a bad name, like any coaching. What's that?
I was really about to invest $25,000.
Were you?
Yeah. That's why I'm at. That's why I say it's a personal question.
No. Well, it's. I'm not saying don't do it. Again, conversation of like, hey, just vet the person, and if that's not to say I know every person that is worthy, but just that's like anything. If you guys are going to put any of your money into something, it usually comes down to the team behind it, coaching. So, just be buyer beware.
Right. Okay.